Never, never, never die. 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 Never die.
Fuck you.
All right, it is Wednesday. It is 3:15 p.m. I know I'm normally early, but you know what? I have a special guest. But before we get into that, I want to thank Jon Andersen's Thrive Body Transformation. If you want to lose weight, feel great, get back in shape, guess what? Reach out to Jon, reach out to me. If you're trying to get back to that high school weight, you're trying to get or hold on your weight, or just a better quality of life, well, guess the fuck what? You can get hooked up with Jon Andersen's Thrive. Just mention me, the Angry Dad, in the notes. Reach out to him, reach out to me. He'll take care of everything. CH Concrete, serving the San Francisco Bay Area. That is CH Concrete, serving the San Francisco Bay Area. No job too big, no job too small. Residential, commercial, does not matter. CH Concrete can help you. Just mention the Angry Dad and they'll take care of you. Sleep Terror Clothing. Sleep Terror Clothing is a dark occult brand. Shirts, hats, art prints. But those for those who know, those who see, I have a beautiful beard, and that beard is taken care of by Leviathan Cross. Leviathan Cross is a beard oil made by Sleep Terror Clothing. A specially designed bottle, not one of those stupid droppers, got a little dab on it. You hit it on your palm, and guess what? The perfect amount. SleepTerrorClothing.com. Feast Mode Flavors. You want to season your meat from sweet to heat and get 10% off your order at feastmodeflavors.com with code AngryDad at checkout. And like I said, I use Asiago Jalapeno, Tennessee whiskey, my two favorite flavors. Make sure you check them the fuck out. Hemp Bombs. I use CBD. CBD is something that is part of my life. I've rested, relaxed, and recovered with hempbombs.com. I use the oil under my tongue, and I wake up feeling better. And now let's get right into the shit. I have Nick Best, one of the world's strongest men. He was on TV. He was on a documentary. I think he was even in Top Gear. And let me tell you something right now. I am pleased to be able to speak to a person like this because this is somebody I've seen and watched, and I'm a big strongman person. I've watched from a young kid all the way to now, and then just to see him on TV and have him here on me. Nick, thank you for coming to join me.
Oh, no problem, Ben. This is really cool. I'm excited about this. This is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, yeah, me and Nick were just talking, and you know what? We're talking work, we're talking business. And when I mean work and business, Nick used to work for a beer company. And when he worked for that beer company, he had all this time wrangled up in work, training, and, and just doing family, and that's a difficult thing, especially in what you were doing.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. I mean, I was the hotel casino's supervisor for Nevada Beverage, which is a Budweiser distributorship here. So it was a very high volume, very important job at the distributorship, and it was a good 55, 60 hour a week job, and then training, and then my family took up all the rest of my time. I didn't have a lot of free time to figure out what I want to do with it. So it's kind of like a new experience. Ever since the strongest man in history, I haven't had to work a regular job anymore. So it's finding out what I like to do and do it and which direction I want to move in. So it's a neat learning experience
to have that transition, isn't it? It's just like, just like we were talking about, like trying to stay out of trouble, getting stuff done. And yet it's like your life's changed in this big way. And it's just so, because I'm going to tell you right now, the first time I've ever seen you was on a news clip from Las Vegas. And I'm over here in the Bay Area. And that news clip was talking about you and your family, living a strong life, all being strong, all training, all eating. I remember watching you guys' first breakfast just on my TV, and that was all in the newsreel. And then I watched the documentary about you and the family training in the driveway. And it's something I've always tried to do with my family. I love to work out, I love to train, but not one of my kids is interested in anything, or what I do is not cool.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I mean. And then the kids also have expectations put on them by other people because of the things that I've done or Callie's done, because Callie's two-time lightweight strongwoman national champion. In school and stuff, both of our kids ended up playing lacrosse,
lacrosse?
which is fantastic. I mean, Dylan was all-state his sophomore, junior year. He got a letter and he's gone to the Under Armour All-American tryouts twice. He was unbelievably good. He just got too many concussions. And
lacrosse is one of those.
Yeah.
It's under the radar. No one really but when you watch lacrosse, it's brutal. It's just as tough as football.
Oh, every bit, except for you have to run a lot longer. So it's like how soccer should be. You're not going to get the guys to get hit and then they lay down and flop on the ground and go, oh, and they're not even hurt. They hit. I mean, they will knock your head off. And I mean, Dylan was a deep hole, so he was a defenseman, and he was fast enough and good enough to take the ball. He'd steal the ball. He was the shutdown defenseman, and he would shut the guy down, steal the ball, and he was good enough and fast enough to run down the field and shoot and score. He could score from the deep hole position, which is not very common.
No. I follow lacrosse just enough because it would pop on ESPN every so often. Like, let me just check this out. I got picked up on a few of the rules, but I was just amazed because these guys are just checking each other, and I'm like, man.
Just full out, just truck sticking people.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as it's a good, clean hit, nobody could say anything.
Yeah, no one can.
So it was amazing, but Dylan would run down there, and there's a couple times he came down where he get hit from behind, and then as he was falling, his last one, he was falling as he was hit from behind, and he took a knee coming up, and he was just out. Yeah, out. Couldn't walk by himself for about 3 days. Yeah, talked like he was drunk for about 3 weeks, and he's like, "Dad, that's enough," because the kid had a 3.9 GPA in high school. He got 1B. Yeah, and he wants to be a doctor.
With concussions like that.
Yeah. So he's majoring. He's in college now. He's a junior in college. Yeah. He's majoring in biology.
Oh yeah. leave lacrosse behind. And
he's got 1B so far. So he's doing pretty good in college.
I was doing extremely well in college because college right now is no joke, especially with the way everything is and especially the distance learning. My kids are still. My oldest is out. He's working. My youngest, he's a junior in high school. And, distance learning for the last 2 years just in high school was just a difficulty trying to figure them out on the go. And it was a mess.
It's not for him, though, which is kind of interesting. Sorry about that. Which is kind of interesting because when he was in high school, he was part of the pilot program for the kids to do online school. Now, this is like 2016. And so they would have classes that they would go to, but they would only go to the class that they needed help in. So they'd sit in a homeroom and just do all their work on their computer. And if they needed help, they would go over to that class and go see the teacher and get help in that class.
Oh man, talk about lucked out there. Yeah.
And he was like the poster child for it because he just took it and he thrived on it. So setting up his own daily plan, knowing what to go through, going through all his work, getting it all done, taking his tests and all that stuff. It was kind of like amazing. So when they had to go to distance learning, like at UNLV and stuff like that with the COVID stuff, didn't faze him in the slightest, not even a little bit. And then it's a bonus because my daughter who had to go to that, she's here and she's a freshman in high school now. So she was in middle school. Yeah. She could follow Dylan's example with it.
Oh, even better. And that really worked out right there.
Yeah, so she's been very successful with it too. And she plays lacrosse. And last year she was in 8th grade and she played for the high school travel team, the varsity level high school travel team in 8th grade. Man. And would score.
Yeah, because there's a significant size difference between high school and middle school kids. And man, if you're competing at that kind of a level, that's amazing.
And she's just this little quick thing that you would look at her and think she's this small little frail thing, and she's brutally strong for her size. And so the girls will like try to.
You and mom.
Yeah. So, but the girls will go try to lean into her, and normally she would fold. She doesn't fold. Yeah. And the other thing is she'll take off, and she'll leave the seniors in the dust. She'll just take off, and then they'll hit her across the middle, and boom, she'll just score.
Tag it right in there.
Yeah, and she's a freshman. This will be they're going to lacrosse season now for her freshman year.
Okay.
And so she's still got 4 more years with this travel team.
Well, she'll get all that experience in, and that's one thing about lacrosse is a big college game. You know what I'm saying? And that, like a lot of people might not know it, or really, like I said, it's one of those offshoot sports. But man, it really hands out those scholarships for them too.
Yep. And she loves it. So I mean, she's got practice here in 2 hours, so we got a good long time when we can talk. But no, she loves it, and it's a beautiful thing for her, and I'm glad she's found that. So it's just good all the way around. And I mean, it's fun to go watch them play and get to sit back and take a back seat and just be dad.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love doing too. Is like you have those moments where you're like, I get to sit in and I'm a yeller. I've been kicked out of a couple of basketball games. You know what I'm saying? I know what the rules are. I read the books, and if I can't sideline coach, but I can definitely ref a few games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm usually I used to be kind of vocal, and then I was like, this is a waste of time. And so I stopped. Now I'll only say things if I see the opposing coaches, because even the refs, sometimes if you don't bother saying anything to them, they know when they're making bad calls. Yep. So if you don't rub it in and let it go, they'll make up for it in other places.
Yeah.
I've come to find if you don't give them a bunch of BS about making a bad call, but it's the opposing coaches.
Yeah.
When they're doing things that are absolutely against the rules, and you can hear them yelling at the girls to do those things on the field, that's when I'll say something.
Yeah.
And I can't confirm or deny I've said some things to make, but you're telling the girls to go around and hit these other girls in the back.
Now, trust me, I've been escorted off the premises a few times because, what's fair is fair. And like, I'm going to coach, I'm going to yell, I'm going to hustle. But when I start seeing stuff that's blatant, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I feel better now because I haven't got to that point.
Yeah, well,
I haven't been escorted off. So I do feel a little bit. You made me feel much better about myself.
Yeah, no. Wait, let me tell you right now. Where I live, all three of my boys all played baseball. I managed, coached every one of those teams. And because every year it seemed to be the bad news bears for my team, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just gotta, it's just one of those situations where you just evolve as you grow, because I'd grow up my kids and I'd be on 3 different fields, and like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I love sports, and I love watching the kids play.
Yeah. I mean, kids are the greatest thing you'll ever do. I mean, hands down, if you can raise a good person, you've done more to leave the world better than it was than you came in than anything you could ever do.
So true. And with that said, has any of your kids decided, like, I'm going to be doing powerlifting, I'm going to be doing strongman?
No. Jess, I think out of the 2 kids has probably the most likelihood of doing that at some point. But no, I mean, Dylan likes it. He likes to do things. He stays in shape and stuff like that. But it's just not his thing. I mean, he's good at it. He has the talent. He could be better than I am, to be quite honest with you. But he's got to love it. Yeah. And he likes it when I do it. He loves to watch it. He loves to support me. He loves to film for me and do my YouTube stuff. But as far as him doing it, he's like, Dad, it's not my thing. I like lacrosse and I like running and I like playing golf and stuff like that. I go, Dylan, as long as you're doing something, God bless.
Hey, and that's exactly how it goes. Because like,
I don't expect my kids. Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah. I just don't expect my kids to be me and relive everything I've done. If they want to go down that road, I can teach them all they ever want to know.
And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Because like, I always want my kids to be involved. I'm a very hands-on dad. I want you guys to do stuff with me, and they're like, no, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I even have a YouTube channel where it's me and my family, where we eat different foods and spicy stuff. And so we call it Team Bowman Snack Attack. And me and my youngest son, he's 9 or he's 10 now. And so he still thinks everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? So we just did the 1 chip challenge where it's like the 2021 world, spice chips. So me and him did it. He had milk coming out of his nose. We have eating challenges. We do food reviews. And my younger son used to do it with me, and now he's like he'll do it when he wants. But my youngest is like, no, we're gonna make a lot of videos, and I'm like, so I always try to keep that show them like, hey, this is what we do, this is how I do. Also too, it brings out that timidness out of them, because if you start showing them the world, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, this is comfortable.
Correct, and they're used to it, and they see the good parts and they see the pitfalls, so they learn, and they learn well. I mean, like watching Jess get mad on the field when the other team's being a little rough, and then out comes an 8th grader that goes down and hits the senior and knocks her down as a retaliation thing. You're just like, as a parent, you're like, honey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then you're like giving her a high five down the side, because it was pretty impressive that she did that.
Yeah. I can't approve it in front of everybody, but
But I mean, the other girl did lay out her friend right in front of her. It was a cheap shot. But yeah, it's good. I love my kids. I mean, they're my world. Man, so's Callie. So
it's how it goes. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about you playing video games. I used to be a big Halo player, from the original Xbox. I used to get booted off of boards and platforms because they're like, you're cheating. And I'm like, I'm not cheating. I was just playing. And so obviously my kids became gamers. That's all they love to do now. Sure. And I have 2 Xboxes, and I can't even get on one. So what games are you playing, and are the kids joining you?
The kids do join. I'll play Fortnite with them, so we'll play duos on Fortnite and stuff like that. So they'll do that, and then I play Fallout 4, Skyrim, but Fortnite's probably the biggest first person shooter that I play, stuff like that. But I just have fun. The Witcher 3, I played The Witcher forever.
Yeah.
Till I pretty much completed everything in it.
Nice.
But it's fun. It gives my body a chance to rest, and it keeps my brain moving in directions. Especially, I need to go get more new glasses. I'm having to deal with prescriptions and stuff like that. Ugh. And I'm dyslexic, so reading isn't the most fun for me.
Yeah, that's me.
Though I do like to read, it
takes a long time to train yourself to make sure you read it right. Because I'm a 3 read person. I got to read it 3 times before it makes sense to me.
Right. And so as far as filling my time that's spare, and when I need downtime, because when you train this hard, you have to rest. You have to get off your feet. You have to let your body recover. It's part of the thing. So you have to find things to take up blocks of time and stay productive. And so I'll play some video games, and then I, do my social media stuff and things like that. And it keeps me pretty busy now.
Yeah, I believe it now.
I like the games, but they're more for relaxing and just putting my mind in another place.
Yeah, especially to let your body recover, because the more relaxed, the faster the recovery.
Correct.
I just did a float tank on Monday. Me and my brother went, and and I wasn't too sure what to expect, because I seen Joe Rogan always talk about it, and so my wife had bought me a Father's Day gift for him, so I finally redeemed them. And I ain't gonna lie, because basically it's just a giant Epsom salt bath,
right?
So that night, it was like an hour in the float, I completely felt heavy. I was like not stiff, but I could barely move because I was so relaxed. And then once I shook it off and it showered up, I got home. I ain't never slept that good before. I had deep REM sleep because I woke up so refreshed. I was like, man, maybe there is something to it, because it was supposed to be a whole Zen meditation thing, but I really couldn't meditate because I'm 6'5". So this tank, if I stretch my feet or push my head out, I'm hitting the top and bottom.
That's awesome. Yeah, so sometimes they don't make things for people that are larger than normal.
Not at all, and with resting recovering, everybody has, and this is just for my aspect of my training.
Do they have
my
one
dieting.
of those here in Vegas?
Hmm?
Do they have one of those here?
Oh,
in
yeah,
Vegas?
yeah. They're called True Floats. They're all over the place.
I might have to check that out.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you right now, you can play your own music, or like it's a little holistic-y, you know what I mean? Like when you walk in, they're like, have some tea and like,
You're
and,
right.
I'm open. I'm a guy's guy, but I'm open. But when I was like, all right, man, bro it up a little bit for me, bro. Make me feel comfortable.
So what you're saying is you go into the thing, and instead of listening to some relaxing like massage music that you'd be listening to, you're in there playing like Slayer or something.
Yeah, that's exactly. You know what I'm saying? I would have felt a little more comfortable and understand, because like they have all these benefits in it. It says pain relief, and I'm like, all right, I got a bad back, sure. I got a bad shoulder. That's what I need. And when I went into it, I did feel better, but the whole time I was like, I'm kind of just laying in the dark because I don't know how to meditate. But right. I told myself, if I practiced how to meditate before I came to this, or knew to be prepared for it, I believe it would have been a much better experience. But even there, they said 2 to 3 floats, and you'll be better at it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to practice it. But just from the pain relief aspect, I was just like, even my brother, he was like, I ain't felt this good in a long time. And I'm like, man, that may be really something to it.
Yeah, well, you relax, and all the muscle takes all the stress off the skeleton.
Big time.
And I mean, that's what's causing your pain.
Yeah,
but especially in most cases as we get older.
Slayer playing in the background.
You're just like, And I would probably listen to like Rush or something.
Yeah, something
for me, that'd be pretty relaxing.
Yeah, a little Leonard Skinner, Zeppelin, something. Even Doors. The Doors would be like a something relaxing, like in that manner. But like I said, they offer all the different things. We just, like I said, it's whatever the gift certificate was for. That's the only thing we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not paying extra. This is just for the experience. And I even told my wife, I was like, if you want to do this, I'd do it again with you, but otherwise I wouldn't do it again.
You gotta go try stem cells.
Oh man, let me tell you right now, if I could afford it, I would. There'd be stem cells in my shoulder, stem cells in my back, and
it's not as bad as you think. It's not as bad as you think.
Oh no, I don't. I want, like I said, I always hear everyone talk about it, and because I got ran over in 2016, I got ran over by a forklift going full speed, thrashed my shoulder, thrashed my back, knocked me completely out, and I just been dealing with it for so long. And I do all the things, the stretch, the rehab. Anything I could possibly do to help heal myself, I've been doing it.
Right.
But I'm like, man, if like I said, when the opportunity pops up, I'm definitely going to be doing stem cells because, I know we talked and you said that you got it done. And just on the concussion aspect alone, I was like blown away because I didn't even know that was a part of that.
Yeah, very much so. It helps a lot with concussions because they'll put it right into your spinal fluid, which will go up to your brain and stuff. And it helps with that. Your recall, your ability to pull up words and stuff like that really increases, and you're not stumbling waiting to find things to say. Yeah, it helps a lot, like a lot.
Where did you get your stem cells done?
A BioAccelerator down in Colombia, Medellin.
See that's where I always hear Panama, but you're like the second person I heard say Colombia.
Mm-hmm. It was. I mean, to me, it was the best place to go. I mean, the people there are incredible. The food was incredible. The staff is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they line up the shots and they're like, boom, right in. You barely even know they're in. And they're like, we're putting a stem cell. No, it's way better than a cortisone shot. I mean, probably about at least 20 times better than a cortisone shot because it's not painful. There's no burning. You can just feel the pressure of the fluid going in, and then it's over. And I mean, the guy, to get in my hip, he probably had an 8-inch needle. Because he went all the way through, to like straight through to get down to it. Yeah. But it was absolutely amazing.
That's great. Yeah, like I said,
it cut my walking around pain in half.
Oh, that much?
That much. Cut my walking around pain in half.
Damn. Like I said, I can muster an hour out of myself. That's usually like, I got to sit down for the rest of the day, and I'm like, oh.
No, I'm back doing, like, on my heavy days, on my hard days, I'm back doing 3.5 hour workouts.
That's
and full bore. And I mean, I like, now that my lat's healing up, and I can tell you this, it really helped my lat heal, because I was probably about 6 months into it when I popped my lat off. So I was,
it was
still
a big incision too.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Oh yeah,
really big, if you can see it. But it's healed ungodly fast. The doctor can't understand why I'm able to do. I mean, I just deadlifted 705.
Oh yeah, it made the news everywhere. It was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. So it's coming along really well. I think I'm gonna be able to return back to. I'll get my full capacity back, and then I think I'm going to improve on that. So I'm really excited and really happy about doing this contest in May.
What are you doing to prepare for it?
Just all the stuff I was. It's a powerlifting meet, so squat, bench, deadlift, it's basic stuff. I'm still going to throw in a lot of strongman stuff. I'm doing a lot of conditioning. I'm going to do a lot of footwork. I'm going to do way more mobility work than what I used to. I do a lot more now than I did before.
That's good.
Yeah, because I mean, just to get down and tie my shoes was like next to impossible. And now I can lean forwards onto my foot and tie my shoe, which I couldn't do.
I still slip my shoes off and on. Yeah, I have a hard time. I'm like, I got kids were like, I get my shoe horn.
Never understand why these guys wear sliders. And you figure it out.
Yeah. With your training, I want to ask you this because I know it's for me, because like I said, I used to do bodybuilding. My original love was strongman, because when I seen it, when I was 10, I was 5'11", 200 pounds. I was
just a big kid.
Yeah, I was ridiculously naturally strong. And I got into not powerlifting, but strongman. I was doing all these things. And then I ended up meeting Jay Cutler, and he was just like, man, you got a great physique. And he literally wrote me down a whole workout regimen, workout plan. He said, I'll try this, and when you see me again, we'll talk. And this is just like a meet and greet. It was just like some random stuff.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I just thought it was amazing. I got an autograph poster in my garage, in my gym garage. It was just like one of those life pivoting changes that switched me into bodybuilding. And once I started bodybuilding, I actually had to learn what dieting is. And so I ended up finding out that, like, you know what I mean? Because I was eating so much, training for strongman and training for all this stuff. Because like I would eat just like, I'd have a gallon of milk a day. I would eat a whole loaf of bread. I would eat like 4 or 5 boxes of cereal. I would eat like 6 pounds of ground beef, and it was just ridiculous. And so, and then I had to actually, all right, this is what it means to eat right. And so then I actually discovered what a cheat meal was, because everything was a cheat meal at that moment.
Yeah, everything you were eating was the cheat meal.
Yeah, and I ended up finding out that garlic cheese pizza from a very specific place would give me the most hugest pump the next day.
Sure.
And so I would always eat it on Friday. So when I worked out my leg, because Friday's always been leg day for me. So I always used to work legs on Friday. So I'd eat that pizza, train, and then the next day my legs would be like twice the size. Have you ever had any like very specific food that was like, if I eat this, it's going to be a great day?
Yeah, it's all the glucose going into the cells. That's why it's doing that. Which is pretty funny. But yeah, it's your carb loading going into your leg day.
Yeah.
It's exactly what's going to happen. But it's a beautiful thing, because you can work out harder too.
Yeah, and trust me, and my brother, because my brother was my training partner, and he'd be like, I love you every day of the week except Friday.
Yeah.
We used to do this.
My training partners get mad at me occasionally.
No, that's how it goes. We used to have once a month we do a 300 rep set where we would walk we do sets of 20, and then we'd walk the bar up all the way up, and then walk it all the way back down. And then by the end of the day, one of us is on the ground crying. It usually wasn't me.
Damn, 300 reps?
Yeah, and that'd be the whole workout, nothing else. We'd literally go in and like full range, complete control, no
Sure.
fucking bouncing. It's like, it doesn't, because if you bounce, it didn't count.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a lot of reps.
Well, I wanted huge legs, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm big on top, but if my legs don't match, it wasn't going to work for me.
Sure. That makes sense. Wow. That'd be brutal.
Yeah, and it was. Like I said, I still have nightmares from it, but we used to go hard in the paint on leg day because, like I said, I can't remember where I heard it from, but someone was telling me the harder you train legs, the easier everything else will grow. So I completely took that to heart.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I mean, your legs are the biggest driver of your hormones in your body. So if you train your legs hard, everything else is going to grow. So absolutely.
So
absolutely.
What food would you say that if you ate would be the it's going to be a good day?
To be honest with you, I love white rice. I love hamburger. I love Monster Mash. And it's weird. I used to eat all this other stuff all the time. And, as I started training, it was like tuna fish and cottage cheese and rice and hamburger and rice and everything in rice. And I still eat that way, and I love eating that way. So if I have a big bowl of rice with either tuna or ground beef or buffalo or steak, because I got a Traeger grill, which is unbelievable. And I like to cook meat on that and then cut it up and throw it in with my rice. I know if I have a big bowl of that and a really good brisket, I'm going to have a good day.
That's what I'm talking about. One of my, I used to work at night, and when I worked at night, I would get off at 2:30 and then I'd train, come home, eat breakfast, take the kids to school, then go to sleep. But what I used to do is I'd cook, just a regular one, those regular white rice pots.
Mm-hmm.
I'd basically take that, and I think it was like maybe 4 cups, or I don't even know it, but I'd take basically half of that, and then I'd literally I wouldn't fry it in oil, but I would throw the chicken thighs, a whole flat of chicken thighs, grill, just fry them up, throw it on top of the rice. Then I'd throw green beans in there with the chicken grease, and then put it on top, and then I would eat that for my last meal of the day.
Man, that would taste really good.
Oh, it did. That's why it went down so easy.
I don't know how that's going to do on the inside of your body, but
when you're young and dumb, everything seems like a good idea.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the funny thing is the kids that are going to listen to this, sorry, my ear's itching.
That's all right.
Have those problems as you get older. You get hair in your ears and then it itches. Always working your hair trimmer. No, if the kids learn how to eat at much sooner, and it doesn't have to be super disciplined, but better disciplined. Like when you go to eat, you're doing a goal in mind, and more is not better. Balance is better. If you eat a better balanced meal every time you eat, you're going to perform so much better, so much faster.
So much better.
What was it? Game Changers, that documentary about people trying to go vegan and stuff like that.
I watched that, and it was so one-sided. I was like, I don't know.
I sat there and laughed because the vegan strongman guy they had on there. Oh, I did a 1,350-pound yoke for 20 meters in this song, and I'm like, and I was just killing myself trying to find the video that I did probably 5 years before that with a 1,350 yoke, where I went 100 feet with it. Yeah. In like half the time the guy did. It's like, dude, you're not that good at the yoke, actually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
even when I seen that, I was like, everything he was saying was like, that documentary. I seen it. It upset me because I'm just like, you guys have one guy that's large, and that one guy got large because of me, and is gonna be able to maintain some of that largeness because he already got himself there. He didn't get himself there from being vegan from the get. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and then the other thing where they were talking to the football players, and then you find out those guys were doing nothing but eating like Popeyes and fast food and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's just like, well, of course you're going to perform 1,000 times better. You've been eating like crap.
Yeah.
I
All the
mean,
worst shit.
everything that you shouldn't eat when doing athletic performance training is what they were growing on. And they were surviving off of pure talent and being young. And all of a sudden they get this big difference when they eat a slightly better diet. And it's like, no. If we actually gave you a good diet, you'd perform even better than what you did on this vegan one. So, but some people are different. Some people have different metabolisms or whatever. I like meat.
So do I.
It works good for me and always has and always will.
Yep.
And here I am at 53 and I'm still able to maintain this level of performance.
Exactly.
So I got to be doing something right somewhere.
Yeah, something right.
One or two things.
Yeah. I work with John and I had a mainly heavy chicken diet and, a lot of chicken breasts, chicken thighs, and, a couple I'd have beef once a day out of one of my meals. But, with John, I'm literally under his program and I literally eat steak and burgers all day long. And I'm not eating full burgers, but I'm having patties. I'm having, it's just, I literally cook steak all the time. I literally got short ribs in my pit boss right now smoking. So when we're done, I'm going to enjoy. But
nice,
and it's just like being able, and I bought, he got me down from, cause I had shoulder surgery last year. I got up to 350. I was able to get myself down to 330 and, I was having issues with it. He's like, look, let me help you out. Helped me out and got me down to 287. So
nice,
and I'm literally eating meat and fats and a little bit of vegetables, and it's an easy way to maintain. It's like so much easier than what I was doing before. It's so much more uncomplicated, and all I'm doing is eating. That's how I lost the weight. It's like so fucking crazy.
Stuff's not right. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're trying to maintain your weight, just eat till you're comfortable.
Yeah.
If you do that 4 or 5 times a day, you're gonna be fine. If you're trying to lose weight, eat a little bit less, but eat 7 times a day.
Yeah.
Because you burn about 50 calories every time you eat a meal, at least. And so if you spread the same amount of calories over 7 meals, you're going to burn 350 calories just from digestion. And so you use your body as a tool as well for that as well. And I don't think people do that. No. Normal people, bodybuilders and people that are into athletes do. But
they understand the aspect of it.
Correct. And I don't think a lot of the general population does, which is what they actually need to learn.
Yeah.
Especially in our society today with just, 40% of the people are obese or close to it now.
Yeah. And fast food, everything,
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then we're going through a pandemic where 79% of the people in the ICUs are obese. Yeah. Well, maybe we should get rid of obesity.
Yeah, that should be the main thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just so crazy because like it just blows my mind. Like, I see people struggling, but yet they still keep doing the same things. I was like, break the habit. I got plenty of friends that are like, I want to lose weight and train. I'm like, yeah, no problem. But get this part done first.
It's kind of like
it's the hardest part.
It's like, actually, you don't. Because I've told people that. I don't believe you actually want to do that. They're like, why? I go, because you're still doing the same behaviors that caused you to be this way.
Yep.
If you're going to do something, you have to change that behavior.
That's it.
And it's not a once in a while thing. It's you either change it and it's permanently changed, or you're going to go right back to where you were. There's nothing that's going to stop you from doing that. So you need to be the one that fixes that. And you can, and you absolutely 100% can. But you have to make up your mind you're going to do it. And you have to have the focus and discipline and be methodical and fix that.
Yeah, you got to want it bad enough. That's what I always tell people. It's like, if you really wanted it, we wouldn't be having this conversation because you'd already be doing it.
Well, if you wanted it as bad as you wanted to breathe, you'd probably be doing it.
Goddamn fucking truth right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which, and that's the thing. You can't want things halfway.
Yeah. You got to full ass everything. That's what I always say.
Yeah. I mean, it's like either do it all the way or don't do it.
Yep.
Don't waste your time in things just to be average at doing that. If your goal is to be good at something, then go be good at it. Do the things necessary. Surround yourself with the people that are like-minded, going in the right direction.
Yep.
I think a lot of people make mistakes with people they surround themselves with.
Which,
which we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
It's if you have people around you that are there, that support you, that want you to achieve the goal you're after, you're going to achieve it. If you have people that are around you going, hey man, let's go out to the club, let's go here, let's go there. It's like, man, I got to train tomorrow. Oh, we'll just be out for a couple hours. And you're back 5 hours later and your dog tired for your training tomorrow.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's not a friend.
That is not.
And that's what people have to understand. That's not somebody that is going to help you get to where you want to be. There's somebody who's trying to drag you down to their level so that you stay down there with them.
Yep.
And if that's what you're happy with, God bless you. But if your goal is to move up to that next level, then they have to become acquaintances. You don't ever be mean or rude to the people, but then they become an acquaintance, and the people that are going in the right direction that you want to, that you're trying to go in, those are the people that become your close friends.
And it's the truth. Like, it's one of the things that, like, in my podcast, I always talk about is recognizing the people that are holding you back and recognizing the people that you don't need in your life. Because if you can't recognize that, you're always going to fall short. You're always going to fall flat because you're being not just held back, but you're being suppressed. And when you start getting suppressed like that, there's no way you're going to succeed. There's no way you're going to step forward. There's no way you're going to get out of those bad habits, those bad traits, or that lifestyle. People need to really understand, look who's around you. Look who's being successful. Look at those who are trying to help you and not hurt you. And once you open your eyes and you see that, boom, your life will change.
Now, on the same note, you have to notice the people that are going in the same direction, that are already helping you do that, and be grateful and thankful to them, and make sure they understand that you appreciate that. Exactly. Because that's something that doesn't happen enough either.
And that's the team right there. And that's the team. That's how this works. See, that's why I knew I was going to get you on. And like I said, it's just like, it's just one of those things, to be successful, and when I always tell people, when I mean success, I mean happiness, because success is different to everybody, but my happiness is my success. So my family being happy, everything in my life going good, that leads to my happiness, that leads to my success. And it's to show people that understand it's on every level in this world. That's what it takes, is to be successful, to have true happiness, to have true life, is to understand and watch your environment and appreciate those around you who are really, truly helping you.
Yeah, no kidding. No, for sure.
Now, with that being said, you were just talking with Brian, and Brian Shaw. And I just watched the video, and we talked about it yesterday. That is a man you don't try to keep up with in the food department at all.
No, absolutely not. You might, if you starve yourself all day and you're ready to go when you get there, you might have a chance he ate a lot on his last meal to do good against him. But if he's hungry and he sits down and he's ready to go, good luck.
I'm going to put the link to that video in these notes here, because I want to make sure people see it, because that's insane. And with Brian, Eddie, and Overus, when you guys, all four of you guys together, are the pinnacle of strongman, powerlifting. You guys have all just been champions everywhere, first place, everything. This is what I want. How you guys have such a dynamic, because it's like you see the real brotherhood in there. And like I said, Nick's been in the World's Strongest Man. It's the TV show. I watched every episode. The boat episode was my favorite episode, with you guys throwing the hammer.
Oh yeah, the strongest man.
So that was my favorite episode. But you guys have such a dynamic.
Was so cold. That was so cold. And I mean, they left me in that ice far longer than they were supposed to. They thought they were very funny. And those ice cubes were like this big. That
I don't know where they got those from. That's crazy.
That freaking hurt. No, I thought it was I thought they were supposed to grab buckets of snow.
Yeah.
From outside, and I'm like, okay, well, I can deal with some snow. And then there's a bucket of those big ice blocks. I'm like, what the heck? That actually hurt. I was not happy with that. But yeah, that was really, really cold. But I figured I better run and jump in because I didn't want the three of them throwing me in.
Oh yeah, or
So
you can't just slip into something like that because it looked really. It's one of those ones you got to just take it full force.
You got to get in there quick and get up to your neck as quick as you can so that clock can start as soon as you can. And of course, they took their sweet time starting the clock. And
oh yeah,
they kept waiting to stop it, and then they kept stirring up the water and anything they could do to make me more miserable. I was in there.
Oh yeah.
But that's definitely the longest, most horrific ice bath I think I've ever taken.
I've never done an ice bath, and I still don't want to.
So now here's the funny thing you didn't see, because they thought it was too mean. So, my time's up. I come running out of the water. They hand me a blanket. I start drying off, and I'm just starting to get warm. I sit down, and I'm shivering a little bit. I just start to get warm. I'm warming up. My hands aren't numb anymore. And Eddie walks up with a bucket of ice water from the jacuzzi and dumps it right over my head and runs out the door.
Oh my God.
And I was like, did he really just do that? And I'm like sitting there just shivering. It was so funny though when he did it and they cut it out of there.
Oh, they should have left that in.
Oh, they should have left it in. There's a lot of stuff that was so funny that they should have left in that they took out. I mean, the guy that produced Rob Warsoff, the guy who produced it was the guy who did the very first season of Duck Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
If they would have gave that guy the reign he should have had on it, as funny as it was, it would have been twice as funny.
Oh my God, that'd be.
I mean, there's so much stuff they cut out.
He should do a director's cut. That's what he should do.
They should, and if they do, that would be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I loved filming that show. We had so much fun.
I had fun watching it. It was just like that entertaining.
No, there was never a point in time where I think where any of us were bored. I mean, the moment we did, we all just started messing with each other in some way, shape, or form, and we weren't bored anymore. So
I actually made my wife watch that show with me.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. There's just stuff that, I mean, you're never going to forget. I mean,
oh yeah,
like Eddie and Brian almost getting into a fight in the minivan because Eddie's been farting all day and just blowing us out of the van, and just sitting there laughing. I think it's funny. But Brian's like, I've had enough. I've had enough. Stop doing that.
Oh my God.
They get into it for like 10, 15 minutes. And meanwhile, my eyes are just watering in the back because Eddie's hot boxed us again. It's just like, but it's just funny stuff. And, Robert's freaking hilarious. I mean, that is one of the funniest dudes you'll ever talk to.
Oh, I follow his Instagram, man. He's always constantly doing something. And
and
getting
in trouble.
A couple of his shirts. You know what I'm saying? I like it. Purdy. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. So it's just some of the things, but there's sides of him that people wouldn't really expect to see and find. And he's got a really good heart to him.
Yeah.
And it's all the guys do, actually, to be quite honest with you. But Robbie's got a really good heart to him too. I feel very blessed and very special to call those guys my friends and to have got to do that with them.
It really translated to the show because you could see that, you know what I'm saying? So and it just picking up, that's what made the show even more better because it just felt like because it was 4 guys, but if I always watching it at home, it made me feel like the 5th guy just laughing at you guys.
Oh, if they ever released the pilot, because the pilot was hilarious. We did Angus McCaskill up in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And we really had a lot of fun in Nova Scotia.
That's so cool.
And if they ever released that, you guys are going to kick out. You'd really get a kick out of that one.
That's cool.
And then I think there's still an arrest warrant out for Eddie in Nova Scotia. So,
that bad? Huh? I mean, that good, huh?
Yeah. Robbie was doing the leg press, and Eddie was up on top of the leg press, being some extra weight. And I cannot confirm or deny that Eddie might have mooned Robert while on the top of the leg press.
Because I can't confirm or deny.
and might have offended some of the people in the gym at the YMCA.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But it was good stuff. It was really funny.
That's
it just, the whole thing. I mean, we just had a blast.
Now, while you guys are traveling, who'd you get to bunk with, or did it rotate all the time?
For the most part, we all had our own individual rooms. I mean, Brian's room always smelled like food because Brian brings his food everywhere and cooks. So that one was probably kind of out for most everybody. And then Eddie's like off in his area, Robbie's doing his thing. So we all pretty much individually had our own rooms. I know they put Robert and Eddie in the same room though in Wyoming. So that was kind of funny. I don't know how they lived through that, but for the most part, we had our own accommodations, but they did mess up the flights more than a few times.
That's not an easy thing to deal with because, being large men like you guys are, traveling is not easy because I'm 6'5", so and I'm not as wide as you guys. I'm not as bulky, but what it is like I take over other seats when I sit down. So I can only imagine the people that have to sit next to you guys.
Yeah. So there was a time where they put Brian up in the front of the plane and put him on the bulkhead.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they had these special seats and the arms were solid. They didn't move up or down.
Oh.
And they were blocked all the way down too. So your legs couldn't spill over to the side.
Yeah.
And there was no way he was getting in the thing. And I remember I had a seat in the back and I went and switched with Brian so he could actually have a seat.
Yeah.
And then there was another time where Brian was up in the front, kind of had his own seat. And he had this little tiny girl sitting next to him that you couldn't even tell there was somebody there. He just filled up so much of the seats. And then they put Eddie against the window, Robbie in the seat next to him. It was only 2 seats. There was only 4 across the thing. I'm on the aisle on the opposite side. So they had the 3 of us in a row. And then I had an open seat next to me and I'm just sitting there teasing the heck out of them going, I got my own seat, man. But literally they put Robbie and Eddie in the seat right next to each other. The travel agent did that.
Yeah.
It's just it didn't last. I mean, the moment the stewardesses saw that.
Oh yeah. They're like, no, we got to separate you guys.
They moved Eddie.
You guys are bad together.
Yeah. But I think that was the flight out of Denver where we were flying into Cody, Wyoming, if I recall. Nice. So yeah, because we all flew to Denver, met in Denver, and then flew up to Cody.
Yeah.
So it was good times. It was really good times.
Like I said, I was, we talked about it before, but I was still waiting for a second season. Fingers crossed. You never know, something might line up because you guys are fire on TV.
You never know. We would all like to see that. So, it'll be kind of. We would definitely have to wait till the Hoptor Eddie Hall fight's over.
Oh yeah.
Before we got started with that, and probably a good 3 or 4 months after that to get Eddie back into lifting pretty hard again. But
after he tore his bicep. I'm
again.
Yeah,
because we lost an episode of the show because of that.
When he lifting the anvil or one of the
No. He actually did Eddie Eats America.
Oh.
And they were in the middle of the last show. So we had a 3-week break between filming and we were supposed to go to Richmond and then go up to Canada and film Louis Cyr.
Yeah.
And on the last day of filming for Eddie Eats America, because we had a 3-week break. So Eddie did a whole nother TV show in those 3 weeks. And the last show, they were going and eating and doing these challenges. And he ends up in the ring with these professional wrestlers.
Oh.
And they go to flip him, and he goes and flips over, and they didn't let go of his hand, and he tore his bicep off.
Oh.
Yeah, so Eddie then went back to England and got medical treatments and stuff like that, which it postponed things, and we just lost the show, lost a week of filming because of it, which was okay. I mean,
no, it happens.
Stuff happens. I'm not mad at Eddie in any way, shape, or form, but it'd have been cool to get that one extra show in.
Oh yeah, no, that's just one of those things. And you know,
Yeah.
I do social media for not
Yeah.
for a living, but I do it because doing this show, doing my podcast, and just running my own meme page. But I'm always up to date with you guys because, like I said, you guys are my four that I'm always
Yeah.
paying attention to. So when the stuff pops up, and when Eddie, hurt his arm in the fight,
Yeah.
because I've been following the fight strictly. I'm not going to ask you to pick, but my prediction, and the only reason I'm making this prediction, and the only reason I'm saying it is I feel Eddie is training extremely hard and not showing it. But Hathor is going extra hard in the paint to be like, no, I'm ready, I'm prepared. He's doing amateur fights. He's really like dialing this in. But I just something about Eddie has street brawler fighter in my head, and that might be coming from his documentary Beast that was on Netflix. So that's how I was introduced to Eddie Hall.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, he just seems like he can hit harder, but I haven't seen anything impressive from Thor yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Here's the thing. I like both the guys. I mean, I love Eddie because I've spent so much time with him, and I loved him anyway. I mean, we were friends before this, and I was also friends with Hathor before this. So I like both the guys, but I know they've grown up very different. Eddie was the third boy.
Yep.
And the youngest. Yep. And the one that was picked on and got in fights with his brothers.
Yep.
When you start doing that at an early age, how did Eddie get the scar on his face?
Yeah, exactly.
Was he bouncing in a bar and took a knife there? So if you're a bouncer in a bar, you're getting into fights,
regular.
Like fights that matter though.
Yeah, real
fights that you have to stop or you can go to the morgue.
Yep.
Fights. He was doing that probably 3 or 4 times a week. I don't think Thor grew up that way, which Thor is such a freaky athlete.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of anything. I think the crazy thing is I think if either one of them gets a solid punch off and twists their hips as they're hitting them.
Oh yeah.
They're knocked out. There's neither one of them, if they take a hit from the other one, a hard hit, a solid hit, is going to be awake after that. Yep. So I think whichever one of them gets the hit off first is going to be the winner of that fight. The
first person to make that solid connection. You know what I'm saying?
But that being said, I think Eddie's been in a lot more life or death, fight or die situations.
Exactly. And that's why I lean towards that way because you know what I'm saying? And I grew up in the hood, I grew up in the barrio, and I come from that similar background style. And it's like that's why it's just like I can see it in Eddie, but with Thor, it's like you're big, bro, and you're training, and I get it, but how many fights have you really been in?
Right. And yeah, like I said, that's kind of why I would give Eddie the nod. Plus, I just kind of Eddie's got that switch, man.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it on the competition field. All of a sudden, it's like he's a different person.
No, yeah, but it's even more than on the competition field. I mean, it's one of those where it's all business when he flips it, and you don't want to be in the opposite end of that. That being said, I think, like I said, either one of them, I feel, could knock the other one out. It'll be who gets it off. But if they get into one of these things where they're going 3, 4, and 5 rounds and they're beating on each other, I'm gonna that one. I'll probably give to Eddie.
Yeah, but no. I definitely see it going the distance because it's like
I don't see it going more than 2 rounds tops.
I'm saying beginning a 3rd round. You know what I'm saying? That's my. Because I think they're doing 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, they're doing 2-minute rounds, but
and that's a long 2 minutes.
If they come out and kind of slowly get into it, yes. But I think there's enough ill will between the two of them that they're both going to come out trying to put the other guy down as fast as possible. Yeah. And if that's the case, I see 1 round, maybe 2. Because, I mean, think about it. If they're out there throwing punches hard, it only takes 1 to connect.
Yeah.
because you're going to get hit so hard. And I mean, even if they're both down to 330, still getting hit by a guy 330.
330, yeah, full leverage, and that's like I said, that's getting that hip in there.
That both deadlift over 1,100 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
It's gonna sting a little.
Well, actually, it probably won't hurt at all because you won't know till you wake up, till you get up off the canvas.
That's it.
So it's going to be an interesting fight. I really can't wait to watch. I just hope neither one of them have any kind of like permanent damage from it.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun to watch the other one poke at the other one for a little bit.
Someday, like I said, I'm going to be pay-per-viewed up, barbecuing, watching.
I know. I'm kind of bummed because it was supposed to be here in Vegas.
Oh, I know. And then I can't remember where they said they were going to move. They said, were they going to do it in Florida?
Florida.
Yeah.
They moved it to Florida, and now I'm not sure where. I think I heard the Arnold, but I'm not sure.
That'd be cool. So, the Arnold.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I've been trying to get my ass down there. Every year, me and my wife always talk about going down to Ohio, and then also going down to the Olympia. And we say it every year, but life always seems to want to keep us away from it. So every time we start making plans, something happens. You
haven't been to either one of them?
No, I've been trying for the longest time.
Dude, the Arnold, the Olympia is cool because you can actually walk around the expo. Yeah, it's still packed, but you can actually get around the expo. Yeah. And do things and meet people and see things and stuff like that. When you get to the Arnold, like at the Olympia, if you wanted to walk from one side all the way to the other side, it'd take you 15 minutes. Damn. At the Arnold, if you want to go 50 feet, it's probably going to take you 15 minutes. Damn, that packed. I mean, it's packed in there. Body to body, they're shoved in there like sardine cans. And I can't wait till I can go. I can't explain to you how cool it is when you're up on that lifting stage. Yeah. And you look out and literally see everybody in front of you jam-packed in there, all the way down the aisles, all the way everywhere. So it's probably 50, 60,000, maybe even more, just packed into that area, all standing, and they're all facing you as you're getting ready to lift. That's so cool. That'll get your heart rate up and make you really not want to miss a lift. just you know what I'm saying? It gets you pumped a little bit right there. It's like, I really don't want to drop this in front of all these people. Exactly. Please let me get this up. Yeah, exactly. And then you zero the axle. So, what's your best event in Strongman? I got 3 that are actually really, really good for me. All right, give me 1, 2, 3 in best all the way down. Farmer's Walk. All right. Number 1. First IFBB Worlds in 2006. Very first event's the Farmer's Walk. The implements are about 6 feet long, and they're it's like basically the log for the log lift. Yeah. Without the ends. So they're 275 pounds each. The handle's in the middle. You can't get it off your legs. Yeah. Because of where the handles are. It rides on your legs. Oh. It's 25 meters down. You got to turn with these things that are 6 feet long. Come down another 25 meters, turn, and go another 25 meters down. And I ended up breaking the world record by 3 seconds. Congratulations, brother. That was pretty cool. I was racing Benedict Magnuson. Oh, man. Didn't even know what I did. Had no idea. I was just trying to finish the course. And they're coming at me from this angle, and I turn to go cheer on Benedict so he finishes the course, because he was right there with me until the last turn, and then he dropped him, and he had to take a second to pick him up, and I just kept right on going and dropped him right before the finish line, picked him up and crossed the line and set the world record. And I was cheering Benedict on, and then he finally finishes, and I'm going like, the oxygen debt hits, I can't breathe, I'm dizzier than heck. And they're coming up to me like, "Oh my God, you just broke the world record, dude." I go, "I did what?" So it was pretty cool. That was really neat. First event for me at a world level competition. That's great. That was a good way to start. And then the yoke, I've just, when I'm healthy, I've just destroyed that event. The last time I did it in Manchester with the motorcycles, I went the 20 meters in 9.21 seconds. So it was pretty quick. It won that event there that day.
Yeah.
So I really like the yoke. I was the one that ruined. I wouldn't say ruined it, but I was the one that kind of messed up the yoke for the Arnold because I was the one that he flew in to test the bell tote.
Yeah.
And here I am. Yeah. So I came in and I start warming up. I didn't have my kit. It got stuck on the plane.
Yeah.
So I had to borrow Steve Slater's belt. I had to borrow Steve Slater's knee sleeves and his pants and stuff like that. So the stuff wasn't mine. It didn't fit quite right. But I tested it, did like the 1300, no problem. Went up to 1500, then went up to the weight that eventually it ended up at because they put more chains and all this other stuff on. And I was able to pick up and start moving with it. And then he's like, stop. I'm like, what? He goes, you're the alternate. I don't want you getting hurt. So, but I was the tester for it. So here's me at 300 pounds, the lightest guy that would be in the show that year, testing the event and not really having too much of a problem with it. So, yeah.
And that bail is ridiculous.
Yeah. And the thing about that is it flexes.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit. So you actually have to set the pick on that one setting lower.
Oh.
Because every time that thing hits the ground, it's got to wobble.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make you unstable. So you got to set the pick a little bit lower and you pick it up so you got good clearance so it won't hit and you'll be able to take much smoother steps.
And it's weird that you even say that because like I remember when I'm watching the Arnold a few times when they were doing it, I was like, why are they starting at such a low position?
Because they could, and they were still barely getting it off the floor because they should have put it actually another pin lower than that. Yeah. I told a lot of guys that too. I go, put the pin lower and you'd see them hit. Yeah. They'd lose their balance and fall. Yeah. So, and then, of course, the shield carry. My first World's Strongest Man in 2010, they had the Africa Stone.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that year we had to pick it up off the ground. It wasn't sitting on the pedestal.
Yeah, it was flat.
And so you had to pick it up, get it in your lap, stand up with it, lock your hands and go. And when you pick a heavy shield like that off the ground, it's going to take 20 meters off the top right there. Yep. You're going to go 20 meters less just because of it. And I ended up going like 79 meters with it. Damn. with no problems. The closest guy to me in the competition was 12 meters away.
Let me tell you right now, a lot of times I remember that one because a lot of people were trying to almost rest it on the belt, grip around it, but you couldn't see where you were walking. Yeah, it was it's incredible.
But that's the way. But that's the way to do it. You don't want to see where you're walking.
Oh yeah.
But they still didn't get underneath it enough. If you go back and watch it again, I set it between my legs and I sit down and then I wrap my hands underneath and lock them, and then I stood up with it. Yeah. So I had death grip on it. I wasn't ever going to let it go.
Yeah, because everyone else was like just barely fingertipping it.
Right, which is they come around that next second turn, and then it becomes keep your grip, not blow out your lungs and blow out your hamstrings. Yeah. So, and the grip fails much quicker than your hamstrings and your lungs.
Big time.
It was one of the reasons why I was able to go as far as I was that day.
Man, I remember being at home watching that too. I was like, "Oh my God, look at this thing!"
Yeah, it was huge, and it was really awkward. And I wouldn't say the corners were sharp, but they were not very forgiving.
Yeah. Well, there's so no giving that thing.
You pick it up, and you got all these lines on your arms for like the next week and bruises and stuff. But it was a really cool event. I mean, I look back on it with a lot of fondness. And the other one was the elephant carry in Botswana.
Yeah.
That year, where I was 2 points behind Sadrunas, and whoever's the leader after that event, and that event was the tiebreaker. Whoever was the leader after that event went on to the finals. You won the heat. You didn't have to do the stone over bar. Oh. And I was just like, okay. And then I see Terry go out, and Terry just lets it go, thinking he's just going to do the stone over the bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then Payman from Iran, who's deadlifting like 1,000 pounds now. Yeah. Guys, that is one unbelievable competitor. Kind of crazy, but unbelievable competitor. He's sitting there telling me the whole the whole contest that he's going to beat me in the shield carry. The whole contest. And I'm like, okay, well, you can try, but go for it. You got it. No problem.
That's it.
And so I kept goading him the whole time, especially going into that event. Are you still going to beat me at this? You still think so? And I was saying that because he had to go before me, because it was me and Sojournas in the last heat.
Yeah.
And so I was making sure I was pushing those buttons, and he got 2 lengths down. He got it 60 meters.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. That's a pretty good distance. He dropped it right at the line. I go, I don't know if Z will get that far or not, but it's going to be close. Because Z has that ability to figure out an event and just get what he needs to get past that. And I was like,
he's a smart fucking man.
Oh, he's much smarter than you could ever imagine. Z, Brian, Magnus, Derek Poundstone, a few of these guys are like hyper intelligent. They're smarter than you can just really understand. So he goes, and then Z picks it up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take off with this. And I just take off. I get down to the other side. So I make the turn, and now I can see Z coming. I get down to the other side. I make the turn. I beat Payman. I make sure I'm ahead of him. So I make the turn, and I'm like, start going. I'm like, okay. So, and I'm just trying to find the point to where I think even if Z had a good day, he wasn't going to make it, and let it go. That way, if I have to do the stone over bar, I still have my hamstrings, because I could have finished the other side.
Oh yeah,
with no doubt, I could have finished the other side and probably turned around and made a little bit further distance. But so I get there, I'm like, okay, I'm probably about 75 meters now. I'm just going to let this go, and then I'll turn around and see what Z does. So I let it go, and I turn just as Z drops it, and he's about 5 meters short of the line. So I knew automatically we just tied, and because that's the tiebreaker, I knew immediately I won the heat and I was in the finals. Nice. And I just start jumping and going crazy and just celebrating because I was really excited. And the fill crew, nobody really knew the points.
Yeah.
It took them about 40 seconds to like figure out that I just won the heat. I knew they didn't. And so I was like really excited about that. But those are probably my favorite events.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, I got to itch my back.
It's all good, brother. It's all good.
Can't reach, so you use pens.
Trust me, I got the stick.
But that was an unbelievable day. It really was.
Yeah.
That's one I won't forget.
No, it's one for the books right there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what?
It's good stuff.
Nick, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your time, because I'll tell you right now,
thanks for having me
on my show. Is there anything that you like to promote? Tell the people where they could find you, and I'll make sure I put it all in the notes.
Oh, awesome. I have my own YouTube channel. It's Nick Best Strongman. And then on Instagram, it's Nick Best Strongman. Shocker. I'm on Twitter. I think it's nbest strongman. So that's where you can reach me. I'd like to thank Cerberus for sponsoring me. I really appreciate it. They have some of the most amazing equipment. Herbstrong is my CBD sponsor, and I can't thank them enough. Barbell Apparel for doing the shirts for me, because they do some Best Strong shirts, and they also have amazing clothes. It's the only place I've ever been into where I can buy jeans and walk out the door. You know, I don't have to have any alters, stuff like that. It was like an experience in my life to be able to put clothes on and like leave and not have to send them to a tailor for 2 weeks. So, and my wife, my kids, I can't say enough and thank them enough, because without them, none of this is possible. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Nick, thank you for coming on. And for everyone else out there listening, we'll see y'all motherfuckers on the next one. Fuck.
Always living, always living, always living, always living, always living, always living.